My name is Dr. George Mochocki. If you're viewing this video, you want to know how do I get my full 150 point on my feasibility research paper that's required for my Introduction to Business Management 111 or in the expanded version Management 154 Small Business Management. We're going to use the Management 111 Introduction to Business right here in Blackboard. So you know the routine. You go into Blackboard. I have a button here that says feasibility paper, PowerPoint info, or feasibility information. Depending on the course, basically you'll find it there. You're going to go in here. You're already viewing this clip now that you have in here. So you're past the 1 point. Now, what I have included in here, I have included, let me see, I'm going to move, I have a rubrics, I have a PowerPoint, I have two full feasibility level 2 maps. Let me move them up here. Let me go on to level 2. This one here, graded crystal feasibility paper. First two sections, we'll go into it later on. We have a little time. It's an actual student's paper. The other one is a PowerPoint, an actual PowerPoint. If you take me to face-to-face class or maybe a 16-week online course, you'll be doing a PowerPoint presentation with your feasibility paper. That'll be a separate clip on there. So let's go into our concept map. So you're already used to my concept map. We're going to go level 2. If I look at level 2, as you know, the concept map, it has a feasibility research paper. It has everything I'm looking for. Okay, so print that out. It'll give you a good idea. Now, so we'll close this off. And now I have another one right underneath there. It says same thing, feasibility, Harper College concept map, and it's a full paper. This one's 2 pages. Similar to the other one, just gives me more information. You could utilize the first section is all you need for this course, but a lot of individuals maybe want to go the extra mile, or they don't understand and they want more examples. So this is the second thing. The full one gives you everything else you have in here, but in a lot more detail. So print that out, okay? And it's something you could use. You also have a rubrics. I'm going to go back into this real quick, but you have a feasibility rubrics worth 100 points. And this is just a general rubrics for you print out. In your paper, when you're going to go into the regular paper, when I'm going to show you, when you're going to be submitted a paper, there's a grading rubric. And that one I'll go into more detail. But this gives you a general idea. You could have a general idea what you need, the 7 headers and everything else in here. Okay, so I'm going to stop on here. And now what I'm going to go is, instead of going here, I'm going to use my concept map. And I'm using a program that I use, and it's easier for me to explain. Okay, so what do I need? Now you have from my paper. I want to get the whole 150 points. First of all, this course you're taking has 20 chapters. What I wanted you to do is take the majority of the chapters and learn new business vocabulary and incorporated this into a document. And this document is going to be a feasibility research paper. So this is the first step before I write a full business plan. Let's say I'm going to open up a new business. Okay, so I had to answer some questions. I have an existing business, but I'm going to open up a new product line. I'm going to open up a new service. I want to make sure, could I make money out of this? Are the customers that are coming to me now the right type of customer? What kind of pricing? All this you're doing before you actually open up a business. You're checking everything out. You're getting a lot of secondary information to make sense. Could I sustain the business? Do I know the right customer? Do I know how to get to the customer? Do I understand what the customers want? Is there a need in the market for my product? And who are my competitors? Once I know that and I can satisfy that, then I'll make a recommendation. Yes, this business is a go, and then I'll go to a full detailed business plan that could be anywhere from 50 to 200 pages, depending. You'll have every line item. But why go into the investing all that time and effort, and you find out that the area or the customer base is not ripe for my product or services? So a real quick overview, what's required, and I'm going to try to keep this under 20 minutes. Minimum of 2,400 words, about 300 words per page. All 7 headers identified by number and title, so you can have executive summary, excuse me, market analysis, marketing, advertising. 5 is operations, 6 is critical risk, and 7 recommendation statement. In your paper, it has to be in a Word document, excuse me, Microsoft Word document, or an RTF, rich text file. You will open up a file now. You write student, you go management 111 or management 154, whatever the course number is, and your topic, and then you'll open and you'll save this, and you'll save it as a Word document or rich text file, or right? And you'll put the first headers. You do executive summary 1, market analysis 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to 7. And then basically now when you're doing the homework assignment, or we've been already doing within the class, in this class, you will do the marketing, you do some analysis, you'll do a SWOT analysis, and you just put it in the right header, because I'll make you submit them in Blackboard in a Word document, so now it's easier for you to paste. What you'll be doing through this class is building this recommendation, this new venture, this new product, or this new business going forward from this class. And this is how you'll learn how to present something in a business setting. This is also how you'll learn to use the words and concepts and definitions and vocabulary you find at the end of each chapter within this document or any paper you write. So this way, when I'm talking to somebody, you got a good idea, but now I'm using business terms. I'm using return on investment, using break-even point. I'm using the 4 P's of marketing. I'm using place product. I'm using promotional mix, integrated marketing. These are all terms you've been will learn out of this course, and now you're going to apply it in here. That lets me know that not only you know that you got a great idea, you also know the business section. You know how to make this idea come to life and how to bring it into the market. Okay, so you have that. So now after underneath each 7 of these headers, you will have 5 vocabulary words. I'm looking for 35 total for the paper, and you look at the rubrics, will state that. They will be in bold or underlined. And usually in a paper, when you're submitting an action plan, they're not in bold and underline. I'm doing this for you so you could start using what you've read and using what we talk about in forms and able to incorporate it into a document. So your vocabulary should be changing more to a business type of vocabulary. Okay, 6 citations. You're looking at 6 sources cited, and you're going to find the 6 citations right here from the SBA site. It could be any citation, and I'll show you how to find the citation. I'm going to go real quickly into a Word document. You go Microsoft Word 2010. You're going to see up on top, if you're using Microsoft Word, they have it. I think Mac has something similar. You go references, insert citation. First you select which one you're looking at. I'm looking for APA. In business, you're always looking at APA, American Psychological Association, because it also has the date included in there. I'm going to do insert citation, add new source, and here's where my new source. And I can put it anywhere. Do you see what I'm talking about? So if I'm looking at, I'm not sure what parts do I need in a citation. If I'm doing an article, it has all these. If I'm doing a report, it has all these. So let's just go report. I'm going to put myself as an author, Mochocki, right? And the title and the year. And the one thing I want to show you is how it's going to work. And the year was 2000. I wrote this report 2013. And I'm going to say it's okay. So if I look at it, see, if I had this was a written document going through, I could tell that this is a citation. Remember the difference between a citation, because I'm taking information and I'm stating it exactly how it was I found in the citation, I mean in the reading, or I'm paraphrasing pretty darn close to it. Or if you're not, so the citation. So in business, when I look at it and I'm talking about the demographics of Wakanda, or I'm talking about the demographics of Winnetka or Barrington or Mont Prospect, I will know if it's 2013, these numbers are very closely. This is pretty current. If I'm looking all the way down to 2000, I said, hey, the customer base could have changed. In business, I always want the most current within the last 5 years. So that's how you're going to do your citation. Okay, so I'm just going to get rid of this right here. Okay, so you have all that. You're going to write it at a college level. You're going to turn it in Blackboard. It must be RTF or Microsoft Word. And I already showed you the rubric that goes with it. And then your executive summary. Remember, executive summary is about a paragraph. This is what's going to catch my attention. The reason it's set up in business in this kind of format, so it's executive summary. It's like an abstract, tells you an overview of what the whole topic's about, and a recommendation. That's usually how most business papers are submitted. It's not like an essay. It has to have the headers in here. So the executive summary is just going to tell me what's my operation, what's my venture, what am I trying to do, how much money I need, who's my target. This gives me a general overview, because in business I may be an investor. I may not know much about marketing or may not know much about operation, so I contract those out to another individual who's going to do the review. So that individual is doing a review, but he or she has to look at this to get a general understanding of that. Okay, so you talk about your product, your human relations, and who's the key person you're going to need. If I'm opening up a bakery, Remember, when you go on all these, it has it all broken down. You need a job description, job specification of the key individual. If I'm opening up a bakery, I want to know that I have the best chef, and that's what I'm looking for, okay? Now, market analysis is basically who's my customer. Don't tell me everyone. What's the geographic? What's the social social and economic status? Are they baby boomers? Are they Generation Y? Are they are they African American? Are they Hispanic? Are they women? Are they men? Why were they selected? This is what you have to tell me in the market, and then you're going to find out on your research, is the area you're opening up because it sustained the customer base I'm looking for. What's the demographic? How do I turn it? Who's my customer profile? What are the individuals? And this could be psychological profile too, because there may be a younger type of crowd, and to be urban, there may be suburbanites. Okay, research the market. Will they buy? Any negative impact? Who's my competitors? Make sure you understand your competition, and it goes through there. Now, the marketing basically telling me who's my promotion, my product. You're going to do an integrated marketing campaign. Integrated marketing campaign. You're going to take the advertising, everything else. You're going to have a campaign. What is the main thing that's going to bring customers in when I first open my business? Is it because it's a new product? Is it because of my quality? Is it because of my chef? Is it because of my manager? Whatever it is, remember that's your strength and weakness, and that's what you're going to market. What is your pricing? We have a couple of chapter. Make sure you know what kind of pricing. Are you going high, low prices? Are you doing 10% over the profit? Are you doing a break even? Are you looking at your competitors' prices? Where is your place? What's your campaign? It's going to be awareness. Remember, I'm just going real quickly. Strengths and weaknesses. What is your strength for your product? Why customers will come in? If that's my strength, that's how I'm going to advertise it. Okay, and make sure you look at some kind of exporting, importing, because when you look at it, since you got the internet and the web, you got to have some kind of exporting, importing. Either you're buying something overseas, or you're importing something here, or you're exporting it out there. Okay, here's some websites, good websites. Look at them. These are general. Most information for this feasibility research is going to be all secondary data before you go. Primary data is you're actually specifically looking for your product, but you're doing this to find out this is going to make sense to go to the next level. Okay. Your advertising. When I look at advertising, move this over. My advertising. Make sure you know media selection. Who's the media? Is it local newspaper, journal, radio, billboard, TV? Don't tell me it's on TV. What station? What radio station? What newspaper? Local newspaper. Is it Daily Herald? This is almost like a detailed plan. So if I say, hey, go with it, you've got most of it already going and you make sense. And when I'm looking at the media selection, it all ties in once I identified who my customers are. Because this customers, if I'm looking at baby boomers, they're looking at the paper, traditional paper. If I'm targeting Generation Y, they're the younger from after 1980, so born around 1980, 1985. They're basically Facebook, Twitter. So if I'm going to say I'm doing all these billboards, and say, hey, that's not how they get the information. You better go into the internet or billboards, or certain type, or Twitter or Facebook. Direct mail, what zip codes? Okay, so you have that information. What are your ads? We're going to put your ads. It's going to be a print. What kind of coupons and why you selected those ads? What's your strengths with your advertising? What's your promotional mix? All this makes sense, and it ties in for the chapter's reading, so you understand. The next one is your operation. Where are you going to be located? Why was this selected? Maybe it's a good price there. Are my customers there? Is it accessible to my customers? If I have an online, how are they going to come to find my site from the beginning? What are my processes? Fixed costs, variable costs. Who's my labor? All this is part of it, of your operation, and the chapters that you have will expand in that, and use that knowledge and use the concept and verb in here. Critical risk. We all know that the environment's a critical risk. How are you going to overcome the critical risk? If I'm opening up what do you call it? A restaurant, or a liquor restaurant, and someone gets sick, and now all of a sudden the restaurant's closed. How am I going to survive in there? Is there something else I could do to keep to at least break even to pay my bills? And that's a critical risk, okay? And how do I plan to overcome it? And your recommendations say, after you've done all this, you're basically looking at everything else here, and this is the last thing you're going to talk to me. You're going to say, hey, investor, whatever, I recommend that this product goes forward. Or, no, at this point, I think we should hold off and wait for 6 months till we get more information on the demographic, or we get more information on the new laws and regulation, or I think we should go another place. Don't just say, I recommend this. Why? You basically have to resell it again, so in my mind, that's the last thing that's in there, okay? So that takes care of the 7 headers you're going to need, and then each 7 headers are going to be 5 to 5 or more business terms or concepts on either underline and bold, so I can identify. I'm looking for a 35. You could have anywhere from 2,400 words, and some will turn them all the way into 5,000. Not too much. Up to 10, 15 pages more than enough. If you do the minimum and you give me everything I'm requiring, you still could get your B's and A's. I have some that are going to take this for the next level. I'm going to be actually open up a business. Okay, so that's the PowerPoint. Now, how do I submit? Let's see. How do I submit this? Now, do you have this? Remember, you got the different examples. Now, before I go there, let me show you what one's going to look like. And I already have this lady's opening up. I've got Crystal. She's one of my previous students. So here's her paper. She has a feasibility. If I'm looking at her paper down in here, you see she's got 5,704 words. She's planning to open up this operation. She's an overachiever. You only need 2,400 or 3,000 words, about 7 pages total. So she had the executive summary. She got the head. You see how she has it underlined? You could either underline it or you could basically bold it. Either way, or do both. I just want to make sure I identify it. So she has one in there. Now, if you had the spelling, I know this is the way you spell the road, because I grew up in Chicago. I'll put that in spell check, but if it's a regular word spelling, I take points off. Here's, look, here's her business. Here's another term she has on there. She has an underline. Oops, sorry. You see me? So I can pick them out. So she'll have 5 underneath each header. And remember, it's written in a regular paragraph at a college level. We're doing, here's our market analysis, and I'm going to go all the way through, all right? So I'm going to zoom in. I will put comments on the side if it warrants it, or if I will put comments in your rubrics, and I'll show you that when we submit the paper. So it's either one or in both, depending on the side of the class. If you notice at the end, here's her risk, and here's her recommendation. Each one of these are headers, and underneath the headers, I have the subject matter. Because when you do a full business plan going forward, there'll be headers, and it'll be set up that way, okay? And if I look at it, here's your bibliography and or citations all included, and I can tell the year and the date. Everything is very current. You see, all the information is within the first 5 years. Only one thing about the Wicker Park is from 2007. So this tells me that her research and her secondary data makes sense for this project, because it's very current and her assumptions are correct. Okay, now what do I do? So now I'm ready. I've got the paper. I did all this. I did the reading. I did the PowerPoints. I looked at the rubrics. I'm ready to submit it. You go into your weekly assignment, weekly module, and this one is either going to be the last week or a week right before the last week you're going to be submitting it, or several weeks before, or the 7th week if it's an 8-week course, either face-to-face or online. So I already have this, and I'll have that depending on the class. This is just a quick overview, so I utilize this clip so I don't have to keep on repeating it. And you have the the regular last week closing remark, and here's how we're going to turn in your feasibility paper. Underneath that folders will be marked, and one's going to be for feasibility, one's going to be for PowerPoints if 2 are required. If I'm only requiring a feasibility, you're only going to have the 1. So you're going to see in there, it's going to be, here's what you submit, tells you how to submit it, tells you how to set up your file to submit it. Also in the file and in the paper, I want to see your name and my name and the course and everything else. And that's how you submit a regular paper to your boss or somebody else. This is how you get credit. Don't assume you're somebody else is going to get credit. Always put your name in this file, and in the paper, you're going to click on here. And when you go on here, I got an error. I don't know why. Oh, because I was playing back and forth. Let me go back. I'm just going to do 1 click. And okay, I double clicked. That's too much. And what you're going to see, you're going to have what's required. And this is the, how you're going to come. You could submit it as many times as you want before the due date. So I'm going to look at the rubrics, right? Look at the rubrics. And if I look at the rubrics, I'm going to make it, bring it back out here. Look at the rubrics. Bring it back out here. Look at the rubrics. All right. If I look at, I've made it small, still larger. It has everything to do with. Look. So you have the 7 headers required. You got 20 points for your opening statements, and you follow the format. You have another thing for your business, your revenue, your profit is 45 points. And look, a lot of times you may well done, and you may have well done here. Not maybe except if I'm looking at the points here that you utilize this information from here. You've got your writing, your 2,400 words, and that you're actually fluent. It's written at a college level, very professional. You're using the concepts, your summary recommendations, APA format. You didn't submit any citations, you'd already lose 10 points right off the bat. You only submitted 2, you only get 4. And your internet use, I expect some of your sources from the internet, because this is an online class, and most of your information, secondary data, will be presented through the internet. Okay, so I exit that, so you know that. And here's what you're going to do. You're going to say, Dr. George, here is my feasibility paper. Hope you enjoy reading it. as much as I did writing it. Student. Okay? So you're going to write your comments. Don't cut and paste it in here. The reason I want it in here, you're going to put it, browse my computer. You're going to find the graded paper, whatever it is. All right? And you see it's attached. And then all you're going to do is submit it. And the reason I do it this way, if I think you're plagiarizing or somebody else's paper, because I've read a lot of papers, I turn in this whole document, the program that Blackboard has and Harper Colleges use. I turn it in, and it's going to scan all the papers turned in, similar papers here at Harper, or citations, and make sure that you didn't plagiarize or you used the citation properly. And if we have another issue, that's another whole issue, but I don't think any of you are cheating. You're making up a lot of this information. You're coming out of the box, creativity, except for the sources. All of this is a new ideas you're coming up with this, okay? And then you basically hit submit, and what's going to happen, you're going to see in your grade book, you see a green asterisk. Green asterisk means that I already received it, and I have something, and I'll send it back, and I'll give you 10 points out of 10 until I move it up to 150. And just to let you know, yes, student, I did able to receive it. I could open up, and everything's okay, and I'll be grading it going forward. So basically, that's what you need to everything you need to submit your feasibility research paper worth 150 points. Good points is about like 10-15% of your total grade. You're taking everything else that you've learned in the book. You're incorporating this. You have the 7 or 8 pages, 2,400 words. You have 35 new concepts of vocabulary that you're utilizing, putting this in. You have a good idea how it is, how it will be when you have to submit an action plan within a business. You always will use the 7 headers. You'll have an executive summary, and you always have your recommendation at the end. And I can't wait to read your papers. I learned a lot from the papers, so you're taking everything else that you're learning, new knowledge, and you're actually putting into this, and you have a practical portfolio or something to show somebody, here's what you did thinking out of the box. Again, my name is Dr. George Mochocki. Welcome to Harper College. This is your feasibility research paper offered by Harper College utilizing Blackboard course management system and utilizing my concept maps. Can't wait to read your papers. Bye.